Hey everybody, welcome back to the Lightside Music Reactions. We are getting into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees for 2026. We're reacting to your requests, as well as some that I'm just throwing in there because I didn't get any requests for them yet. But for some of the artists that have been nominated and won and will be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame later this year. So if you guys want to get your requests in, go ahead and comment down below. It was announced on April 13th that who the nominees and the winners are, and it's an 18-member class, including Phil Collins, Billy Idol, Iron Maiden, Joy Division and New Order, Oasis, Sade, Luther Vandross, and Wu-Tang Clan. And we've already reacted to a song from Phil Collins, and today we're reacting to Iron Maiden. And so Iron Maiden, for those of you that aren't familiar, this is new to our channel. We haven't reacted to them yet on here. But they're an English heavy metal band formed in East London, 1975, by their bassist and primary songwriter, Steve Harris, consisting of Harris, lead vocalist Bruce Dickinson, drummer Nico McBrien, and guitarists Dave Murray, Adrian Smith, and Janet Gears. And I hope I'm pronouncing these names right. And they are pioneers of the new wave of British heavy metal music. They've sold over 130 million copies of their albums worldwide. They released 41 albums, including 17 studio albums, 13 live albums, 4 EPs, and 7 compilations. They've also released 47 singles and 20 video albums and 2 video games. So that's kind of interesting. I'm not familiar with any other band out there that has released actual video games. If you guys are familiar with any of those, you can comment those down below as well. Some of their songs you might recognize: The Trooper, Fear of the Dark, Run to the Hills, Hallowed Be Thy Name. That sounds interesting. I might want to check that one out. Aces High, 2 Minutes to Midnight, and The Number of the Beast. The song we're reacting to today is The Writing on the Wall. It was released on July 15th, 2021, alongside a music video, and served as the lead single from their 17th studio album, Senjutsu. And it was the band's first single since 2016's Empire of the Clouds. So let's check this out. Iron Maiden, The Writing on the Wall, and the version we're reacting to today is live at Wacken 2023. And so, as always, there's a link in the description to the original music video, so you can check it out there and listen to it without me talking over and interrupting it. By the way, if you enjoy my hat, I've got this and a couple others with some merchandise as a thank you for you guys' support of the channel. You can check out the link in the description that tells you how you can get your hands on one of these hats or one of the others that I've got in stock. Without further ado, let's check this out. Iron Maiden, The Writing on the Wall, live at Wacken 2023 from their The Future Past tour. And here we go. Ooh, nice. He's doing that on an acoustic. Nice crisp strings. You can tell he's using a pick from the sound.
Here we go.
So this is fairly recent. 2021 this came out. So still rocking after all these years. Well, the crowd likes them. I like it so far. Okay, it sounded like as they went into the chorus, their tempo sped up and slowed down a little bit. You get that a little bit when you're playing live. You don't actually play to a metronome sort of thing, so it's normal for the tempo to kind of fluctuate, especially when you're really getting into the full energy as a band. And it's a band that's used to playing live. For example, my band, when we went into the studio for the second time, well, actually every time we did go in the studio, the producers pretty consistently wanted us to just go ahead and not use a metronome, because we weren't a studio band, we were a live band. We were used to playing live, and so we had our regular flow where we could follow each other, and our tempo would speed up and slow down just a little bit here and there, where a trained ear would hear it, but most people wouldn't. And if you were playing along with it to a metronome, you'd catch all those little inconsistencies to where it might speed up and then slow down, and you might not end up exactly on the same tempo at the end of the song by the time as when you started it. And it really flowed well for us as a live band, and the producer really liked that sound and that effect that it gave. And so it seems like that's what they've got here. Now, if we were listening to the studio recording, it'd probably be more dead on, like the da 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 da. If you were playing with the metronome, it'd be straight all the way through. But there, it sounded to me like they were speeding up and slowing down just in that first half of the chorus. Across the beginning of the song, through the first verse and the instrumentation there, it sounded like they were pretty on track. But then when they got to that chorus, it kind of sped up and slowed down a little bit. And those with a keen ear might pick up on that, especially those that maybe are musicians yourselves and have experience with that sort of thing. But they're really tearing this up. For rockers of their age, you think of bands like Aerosmith and the Rolling Stones, and in the Christian genre, you've got like Stryper and Bride and bands like that have been around since the 70s and 80s that are still putting out music today. And you can hear the age in the lead singer's voice there. And when he's singing there on the first verse, when he first started out, it sounded like he might not have been singing right in tune, because he was just really shouting the vocals, and he wasn't hitting it right on track. But it really adds, like I said, to the live feel of it and makes it more authentic. Now, when they got to the chorus, closer into it, it sounded like he was nailing dead on. And so it's not that he can't hit those notes. He obviously is. And for his age, this is an amazing feat. Just like listening to Aerosmith or, like I said, the Rolling Stones after all these years, and they're still doing a fantastic job. You can see that they've still got the skills. And same thing with Strypers. We've reacted to recently some of their newer stuff. But you could hear that he was really singing on key, especially on the chorus. But when it first started, it was more like he was just attacking those notes, and he was not really focusing on hitting the notes, but really just getting that effect of screaming out and setting the mood, basically, for the song. So lyric-wise, let's check out what we got so far. Across a painted desert lies a train of vagabonds. So you're setting the stage, painting a picture sort of thing, and they're setting the stage that it's like a painted desert. You think of like an old Western sort of thing, the spaghetti Western, old Clint Eastwood movie, and you just see a painted desert, and then a train of vagabonds. All that's left of what we were, it's what we have become. So we have become what we are now, but then that's all that's left of what we used to be. Once our empire's glorious, but now the empire's gone. The dead gave us the time to live, and now our time is done. And so this kind of goes along with the theme of aging rock stars sort of thing. I think of myself and my band as we're getting older. We can't perform like we used to. I can't hit the high notes like I used to when we were together. And I can't play the guitar like I used to. I got out of practice. And if I were to pick up my guitar now and try to play live, I would forget a lot of the chords and the songs that we've written together and sang over the years. And you'd have to get back together and do some practicing and rehearsing if we were going to do a reunion sort of thing. And they're looking back on the time that's gone by. I think of Foreigner, where I recently reacted to their reunion album that they just came out with, that special song a couple years ago. Turning Back the Time, I think is what it was. And the lyrics of that basically talked about, getting older and looking back on the youth and remembering the glory days. And it seems like that might be the kind of feel they're setting the stage for with this song. Looking back upon their glorious empire, their band, what they used to have, and now this is what's left of us. The empire is gone. The dead gave us the time to live, and now our time is gone. All that's left of what we were, it's what we have become. Okay, then moving on. Now we are victorious. We've become our slaves. The land of hope and glory, building graveyards for the brave. So we have become our own slaves, they're saying. So it's not necessarily a pretty picture. Looking back on the glory days and what they're painting the picture as. Not that this is autobiographical, that the band thinks of this of themselves, but the picture they're painting, for this song's sake, is of somebody looking back, a group, and saying, we have become our own slaves. Is this society they're talking about? About how our society is a glorious empire, or at least it used to be, and now we've kind of become our own slaves. I think in the biblical standpoint, you'd go back to the Old Testament, and you think of the Israelites and how they were given a bright future by God, and then they kept making mistakes every step along the way. Ended up being sold into slavery in Egypt, and then when they escaped from that, they wandered in the desert for 40 years, and basically became their own slaves to sin. And it's the same thing with us humans today, that we basically, when we reject Jesus, we become slaves to sin. And he's come to set us free so that we don't have to be slaves to sin, slaves to ourselves and our own selfish desires and ambitions. And so maybe they became victorious, as it says here. Now we are victorious. We become our slaves. And because they were so victorious, they became conceited maybe, and thought, well, we've got our glory days ahead of us. We're living in the glory days. And, they became slaves to their own ambitions, and realizing too late that what they've traded their ambitions for hasn't been something that was worthwhile. And they're trying to get back their glory days and find that land of hope and glory. But they're building graveyards for the brave. Then the chorus, have you seen the writing on the wall? Have you seen that writing? Can you see the riders on the storm? Can you see them riding? Can you see them riding? And of course, when it talks about riding on the wall and riders on the storm, you probably heard some country songs like Riders on the Storm. That was the Doors, I believe, did that one. But then there was another one. There was, I think it was Waylon Jennings and Chris Christopherson, the Highwaymen, basically, and Waylon Jennings and Willie Nelson. They had a song that had that same theme, the Riders on the Storm, or the Ghost Riders in the Sky, I think it's what their version was. But that's basically from the book of Revelation, where it talks about the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, the riders on the storm. And so, of course, those would be the white horses for conquest. Then there's the red horse, the black horse, and the pale horse. And each one of those just basically represents God's judgment. The white horse, of course, is conquest. The red horse is war. The black horse is famine, and the pale horse is death. And so they're seeing this judgment of God coming upon them. And then again, the concept they mentioned of the writing on the wall, which is the name of the song, goes back to Daniel chapter 5, another prophetic book of the Bible in the Old Testament. It talks about King Belshazzar. And basically they were having this great big feast, all decadence and everything. Eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we may die, sort of thing. Like, let's just party like it's 1999. Let's just have a big party, and who cares about tomorrow? Let's just live for today. And all of a sudden, this invisible hand just materializes and writes with its finger on the wall the words, many, many tekel uppersen, which translates to basically, you have been weighed and found wanting. You have been weighed, measured, and found wanting. So basically saying that destruction is coming. And so when you hear that phrase, the writing on the wall, that's basically just a premonition of doom that is coming. And when they pair that, the writing on the wall, with the 4 horsemen that they sing about here, In the lyrics they say, have you seen the writing on the wall? And can you see the riders on the storm? And so when they talk about we are victorious, but we become our slaves, maybe they're saying we see the writing on the wall that, we think we're all doing great and we're having this big party like there's no tomorrow. But that may not be a good thing, because when tomorrow does come, there may not be a tomorrow. And instead of partying, maybe we should be getting right with the Lord, getting our lives in line, so that when tomorrow does come, we'll be prepared and ready, and we won't have to face destruction. We're seeking a land of hope and glory, but instead we're building graveyards for the brave. Okay, that's pretty interesting when you think of it in that perspective. From a Christian perspective as a pastor, this is the kind of stuff that comes to my mind, especially when you get this biblical imagery. It makes me wonder if that's a subtext to what the songwriter is thinking as well. Let's go ahead and get back into it. Yep. All right. So this second verse is kind of adding more to the picture. It's like they're painting this gorgeous imagery that's full of darkness. And like I said, the four riders, so you got all these different colors. And you got the black and the blood red and the pale horse and everything. And it's a beautiful picture, but it's also a picture of destruction. And so we can sit back and enjoy its beauty while recognizing the darkness within the painting. But they're saying here in the second verse, holding on to fury, is that all we ever know? So a lot of times we do that. We hold on to our fury, to our anger, our hatred, and violence. And is that all we know? Or are we truly seeking peace? And we need to be a people that seek after peace. Now, that doesn't mean that war doesn't happen. And sometimes you don't want to have war for war's sake, but when somebody declares war on you, you have to fight back. And you can't just be a pushover sort of thing. And so when a nation goes to war, it's not always something that you want to do, but sometimes you have to. But when you hold on to that fury and that anger, and that's all that you can see is warfare and famine and earthquake and pestilence and all these things that is predicted to come in the end, when the four horsemen of the apocalypse appear, rhetorically speaking, of course. Is that all we ever know? Ignorance is our judge and jury, all we've got to show. From Hollywood to Babylon, so it's updating it. It's saying, in modern terms, that Hollywood is basically a modern-day Babylon. And so it's a judgment upon our society today. Taking a biblical perspective and a biblical principle and a biblical story and applying it to our lives today. And I love how they're doing that as a band with this song. From Hollywood to Babylon, holy war to kingdom come, on a trail of dust and ashes when the burning sky is done. Once again, premonitions of revelation of the future that time holds for this world. And it's a trail of dust and ashes when the burning sky is done. A tide of change is coming, and that is what you fear. Yeah, we don't like change. I know I don't. But when you know what the change is, it might change your perspective. Because the change may be good or it may be bad. And if you are a student of the Bible and you can read to the end, you know the end of the story. It predicts the future. And if you know what side you're on and which side is victorious at the end, then it may be good news for you. But if you know you're going to be on the losing side, then it's not good news. And that's what you fear, is that change that's coming. The earthquake isn't coming, but you don't want to hear. You're just too blind to see. Once again, a scriptural theme. He who has ears to hear, he who has eyes to see, let him hear. But so many times we are deaf and blind to the things going on around us, and we don't realize the trap that we've set for ourselves. And we don't see the writing on the wall. Have you seen the writing on the wall? Have you seen that writing? Can you see the riders on the storm? Can you see them riding? All right, let's go ahead and finish her out. These guys are really rocking. Okay, that was a solid lead there. Okay, second guitarist, that was a solid lead. Back to the first guitarist again. I like how they're trading off on the lead. Nice. Got the audience sing along. Have you seen? All right, very cool. Iron Maiden. In 2021, they came out with this song, and this particular recording they made in 2023, the Future Past Tour. So after all these years, they're still rocking, still sounding amazing, releasing new material. This is awesome. So congratulations, Iron Maiden, on finally getting nominated and winning your place in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Yeah, I heard that Iron Maiden has famously snubbed the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, that they've said that they don't want to be on it, and I don't know what all the background is on that. If any of you guys know the details on that and want to comment on that, you can down in the comments section. But either way, they are pioneers in the industry, and I believe that they are definitely one of the bands that deserve a place on there. I am so glad that Phil Collins finally won a place on it, and we've got a bunch of others that are coming in, and rightly deserved. So right now we're beginning to check out, as I said, the artists that have won places on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2026. So if you guys want to request, especially some songs from those bands and artists, go ahead and comment those down below, which of their songs I should react to, and I'll try to get to as many of them as I can. And also other artists, genres, anything at all you want me to react to, go ahead and comment that down below, and I'll get to all of your requests eventually. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my reaction. If you did, hit the like button. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please subscribe and turn on notifications so you know whenever we have new content. That's it for today. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time on Light Side Music Reactions. Have a great day, and God bless everybody. Bye.